Let's see. Testing. 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Seems like it's good. Hello. Hello, Scott. Scott in the chat. Alright, let's go to the screen. Yay! I'm professional. I'm good? Okay, why can't... Where's chat? What the fuck? If I go to the screen. Where's chat? That's chat box. Where's... That's weird. Let me try... Do that. Scott! Oh no. Scott, put something in chat. Say something in chat. Okay. Great. That was weird. I guess because I switched to a different screen and it was like stupid. You know how it be. Okay, I'm turning off the music. And then bring up the game to play more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. You're on the second game in the series. Apparently there's only 2 games in this series, which kind of sucks. I'm enjoying this series. But oh well. Okay, let's see if that's looking good. Okay. Alright, we just about finished this chapter where we are playing as Susato. And she's pretending to be a boy because she is trying to defend her friend, and sexism happens. You know, it be that way. So she has to pretend she's a male student from the university. Which I don't remember what her fake name was. I know the family name was Naruhodo, but I don't remember what. Was it like Sutaro, I think? I don't remember. Anyway, we're very close. It's obviously the photographer dude. Like, it's so... Yeah, something like that. But, it's very obviously the photography dude, which I... Yeah. Very funny. And it was her dad who put that name. He's the one who came up with the name. Because he's like, well, we have to put something down for your name. It's like, that's fair, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna solve the murder, which actually has to do with the lady who committed the murder in the first game. Because she died. But she killed Dr. Wilson, who was Iris's father, who worked with Sholmes. Lots of things. And also, Mr. Natsumi is here as well. He was here too. He's probably still here, but like, he's also involved in this case. And so is the detective dude. The Japanese detective dude. Who's always in disguises and stuff. So that's fun. Yeah, we're about to solve this murder. We're literally right at the end. It's like right there. We're right there. Okay, what? Okay. Court record. Okay, great. So, culprit, but, the fuck is this shit? I don't remember what that is. Single crime. Victim's back. No trace of poison was found on the blade. The chemical reagent. And this pen obviously having the poison in it. Like, obviously. Can I see you take anything? Okay, here we go. Ryutaro, that's what we're named, I think. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water in a glass has been knocked into the sandy floor of the beach. The poison could have been slipped into, either? Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This will make a great front page shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already. Well, it is established? What are you talking about? Huh? Don't tell me you've forgotten. It's a little hard to believe, given that the person who established it was you. Me? What on earth does he mean? Oh, let me capture those wide eyes. His prime press fodder this is. It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet. After all, I hereby call upon the witnesses to give further testimony. That's great, that is. Let me give me a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency. You claim it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. Okay, so we're going to go into a testimony. Okay. Just a refresher where we were. You will explain to the court Gotta get my voices ready. You will explain to the court your testimony, the basis upon which you make such a claim. How did I do his voice? I know it was like, I'm a journo and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now because that's many memos. For a brief moment, I thought I'd eliminated the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us? Alright. Witness testimony. Complete innocence. Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman, and that is the very fact that proves I'm innocent. Alright, you stabbed a woman. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? When I heard the sitting girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done. Right. So you admitted then that everything happened as I described? That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen? You can blame this miserable country of ours! A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free! What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it! I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do! Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back, I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there! As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. As it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got her to her before me. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart. You're implicating Ray again. She is the one who gave the poison to the English woman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, this journal here is off the hook. The argument is sound, certainly. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he need only have waited it for it to take effect. Subsequently, stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical. And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical. That's right, it is. Logical and true. Are we really doing this? We are, apparently. I'm glad you've all seen the light. Justice at last! This is unbelievable. And after I'd made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now? That whole argument, if someone just jumps out at a window and someone actually shoots them before they land, is a murder? The answer is yes, by the way. Yeah! I guess so. That's so... yeah. Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Very well then, counsel, proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. Yes, Your Excellency. Alright, let's go! Cross-examination! Complete innocence. Oh yes, I said the English woman, and it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent! Okay, press on everything. So you do admit that you had murderous intentions towards Miss Brett then? The woman's very existence offended my sense of justice. Your sense of... he's claiming some sort of righteous indignation? She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer who commit murder right here on our empire soil. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance, so I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice, put things right for the people. Yes, it was my civic duty. That's what drove me to it. So, in summary, murderous intentions. Whatever you want to call it, the point is this. That English woman was a blight, so I had to do what was right for society. Yeah, real wrong. Yeah, real wrong was done by the student girl in the dark. A crime for which she must pay. Obviously, because the poisoning has nothing to do with me at all. Right, sure it wasn't. Because why did I bother to stab the woman if I already poisoned her? Hold it. So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim? Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you were already wearing braces like these. The accused administered the poison, following which this witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not with a murder. That crime rests on the accused's shoulders. Okay, can I... so I'm gonna look at the pen again. Am I able to use that? Okay. I wanna... Okay, take off the... unscrew this. Yep. Just there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all. Oh yes, you're right, it's pretty much empty. Well, it could be the verge running out, I suppose. Can I find a way? Dang it, okay. I wish there was a way for me to just connect these two things together, but okay.
This is how the law works, you see, yokel. Who knows? You may even learn something here today.
2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. What a day for the victim. Do something that evil and you've got it coming. That's how the law works. The law of reckoning. It's not the kind of law this court upholds. You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim, then, witness. When I heard the young girl in the pompous English murder arguing, it got my goat.
Hold it.
Okay. What exactly were they arguing about? What happened in that restaurant 9 months ago, that's what. The student girl was laying into the English woman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson. Yes, John H. Wilson, professor of medicine. Invited here from England by Professor Miko Taba, no less. Alright, but the English woman just jeered.
The case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai, however. There's little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman.
It was eating that student girl up inside. You could see it. I really fell for her. Oh. Oh. Is it Ray? I can't. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Ray.
Girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whatever you feel like it.
No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. But this awful man is making all of this up. Susato, please, you have to make me listen. Turn to the dock at once, Minbami-san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination. Your Excellency, please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly! He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty, great peeping Tom! Whoa! Take it easy there! Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks.
I will grant the request of the defense.
But, Your Excellency!
This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be unwise to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So us recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison. Okay, let's talk about that. The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. Wait, I realized that this judge is the first to not simp for the accused prisoner girl. I don't know, she's a young girl. I don't know. I mean, the prosecutor isn't either. I don't know. Anyway. That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. Surely it would be no easy task to see a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true, I pestered Professor Mikotaba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. As I left, I was searched from top to tail. This spread rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see. And since Saseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I found it unable to refuse, obviously. I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with the poison. I wanted to look my own enemy in the eye. Surely you can understand that. Find out if my suspicions were true. I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government, even. It would be a complete disaster. That's why he put it in the pen. Because they searched them, right? So he put the poison into the pen to hide it. So when he could leave the lab and it wouldn't be suspicious. It'd be like, oh, it's just a pen. Just my pen. Don't worry about it. It's got my initials on it and the insignia for the newspaper company. Oh yeah. Crazy spy stuff. And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns? She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually. Yes. Minimino-san. One small question, if you don't mind. I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy? You were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably, then. It was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yumi Medical Research Laboratory. Story was published in this morning's edition of Sheu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anybody else. Ah, so it means that's proof that she was not talking to her about Dr. Wilson. Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, look at this. The entire article is almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word. Well, Memo-san. As a journal and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of Mini-Memoism. Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut. Okay, that's good. So, that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came up with the stinking story about me arguing with her. Shut up!
My stories never sink. Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on the record.
Well, you may amend your formal testimony.
He's getting all heated up. Point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to go in and stab the person as well.
Hold it!
Yes, sir? Perhaps you doubted the efficiency of the poison and sought to make sure the victim would die. That's horse dung! What? That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you even tasted it. Completely reckless. Although it might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetuous, peppered puller as it happens. Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. And yet, this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. Must have been a good reason for that.
If it were the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, clearly, he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut.
Yes, that's undeniable.
But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation.
Sorry? What change?
The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishman.
Ah, yes, that's it. That's when Mini Memo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. It'd be the key here.
Okay. If the man unwilling to take the poison already, the reporter would have had no reason to stab her on the face of it. That logic sounds entirely reasonable.
But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder.
Think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her even after the poisoning. Being sure that everything would drop into place, that's what we should be looking for.
Yes, okay. And in order to do that, I must try to glean more information.
Okay.
And that's the very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I've already poisoned her? And the student girl and the pompous English mirror didn't got my goat. It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison. Point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to go and stab them as well.
Okay, me do a savey. Because I'm thinking...
What do I throw at him? The newspaper?
Objection!
Yeah!
Well, I can think of one reason.
What?
But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Do you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut?
Of course he did! There can be no question of that. After all, when we were all in the laboratory together, all we were told is that it was a toxin.
And there was one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Mem Bami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink. Where are you going with this, counsel? Many Memo-san has made quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it.
Ugh. Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have embedded the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put.
When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. And at which point, Mimi Memo-san overheard some worrying information.
Worrying information? What worrying information?
The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained.
Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could come from is my lab.
And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would
exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people. Everyone in my lab is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Mabami-san being no exception. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a lay person, unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you, Ray-Tin Many Memo. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day, and it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that that was a terrible mistake, because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learned these facts. But you'd already given the victim poison at that point. It was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen.
What good could that possibly do?
Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would ever have suspected. This is extraordinary. Yes. The effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified. So the killer had to mask its use, which he attempted to do by punching a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Order! The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward?
Oh, well, yes, I counter completely.
The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nutrites the remnants of his top knot, he is clinging to lost hope.
Lost?
Hold it! Oh shit. Who's saying hold it? Is that the... Yeah, this dude. Hold it! Oh shit! The hat's going down. Oh, you pathetic, useless, fallen samurai!
Fallen? Who are you calling fallen?
I don't need a counter argument. What? What are you talking about? It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Give it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter-argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts. Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself. I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial, it's all here. It's in my mini memos. Every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Show You News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word. Surely it would be no easy task to steal a secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even But if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. I'll bet then I've blown the story wide open. See, I, written mini memo, a mere reporter from Shayu News. Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory. Ugh. But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. And if that's the case, as you have identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here. What's your point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin? My point is this. There is no way that you, Mini Memo-san, could have stolen the poison that day. I have heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question? The pen. The pen! Pen. The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen. Ugh! Fountain pen? How could that possibly be relevant? This magical pen somehow seemed to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji letters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now. I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else, these newfangled pens are really a fad. Since the poison killed it instead of the blade, this is proof that the pen is indeed mightier than the sword. Hell yeah! Very, very literal sense of the pen is mightier than the sword. As a forward-thinking man of words, I obviously love my fountain pen. Suck up a soup gallon of sumptuous ink and one's work is a wash with words in the blink of an eye. That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with the latter. What does all this have? What does all this talking of sucking up ink have? And just as it's possible to suck ink up into the reservoir, it's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course. My word, can this really be? Well, Many Memo-san. When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir. Absurdity! That never happened! True, we've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thieves like this from the laboratory. But many would have thought to look but would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places? No, I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say. I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Mini Memo-san. So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped? Are you suggesting? The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into a glass. That could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. And shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand. Yeah, no. No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink? What? As you can see for yourself, if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone nothing in his pen. No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness, what do you have to say in your defense? So this is how our modern justice system works, is it? So what if thinking my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps? I can always claw my way back into the game. I have ability in reserve. Ag! Oh shit. You claimed I took the poison up into my pen? That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again. Looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter. As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the evidence can prove that he did with evidence. No such evidence could possibly exist. Yeah, it does.
Minnie-Memo-san, this is how our modern justice system works.
What?
In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you.
Very well then. I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence.
So that then, this is the final piece in the puzzle.
Okay, I think it's the stuff that you can tell the thing for the poison. Crisco's poison. The poison for the English lady.
Really. The defense can prove by means of this item that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal poison.
Bitch. And so, what is that bottle?
This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question.
Yes, that poison is a entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect the trace of it by any other method.
Or from another perspective. Simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison.
A reagent? What?
One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Minnie-Memo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt.
No, you can't. I won't.
Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the tests on the fountain pen at once.
Oh shit! Oh shit! This isn't my fault! The Empire told me to destroy and hold its head as a civilization belonging to civil foreign fire, to go burns in the mighty bed on this battlefield! All the name of justice and righteousness! Yes, my Hell yeah!
Susato, with me. I'm here.
Oh shit! Hi! Hell yeah!
Did I do it right? Was that a Susato takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown.
Hell yeah. Is that a takedown and Ray arrest?
The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present.
Got him. When I saw it there in the lab, the poison, I just, the devil got a hold of me, and I decided to do it on the victim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out thoroughly.
And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. Yes, that's right. Answer me one thing, Lenny Mimble-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in the Oracle. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up.
Then why did the English woman end up dead?
I went to the hunt intending to quiz her on her situation, that's all. As a reporter, a known killer enjoying full freedom, evading justice by leaving the country. I told her when I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face. Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism? Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways. You ignorant plebeian. What did you call me? This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free pass, it's really very depressing. You see your superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from. Man. Yeah, it does sound exactly like her. That's when I remembered about the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. What a terrible tale. In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible, but I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done, when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journalist spirit getting all fired up. I'd like to ask you something. Yes. You often talk about justice, but surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought. There's no justice in the press. Sorry? After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what had happened in that courtroom. Finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up! That's what it was! Oh, shit. A cover-up? What do you mean? Oh, shit! Plot twist. I remind you of your position, witness. Be careful what you say. Oh, come on, doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet that puffed-up Englishwoman was going to sail away into the sunset a free woman. The only possible explanation is that behind the scenes some deal had gone down between the British and Japan. What sort of deal? I've done my research, dug up all the dirt. It was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up. Came under pressure from the government, you mean? If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself? Let's not forget, Minnie Memo-san, that you committed murder yourself, and you tried to lay the blame on the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all. I suppose. Man. It appears that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Assemble the defense. Ryutaro Naruto. Oh. Yes, I am sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way here. It's almost unbelievable that this 2-fourths experience of the Supreme Court is an excellent performance. In truth, if very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Oh, Naruhodo-san. Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way you handled the trial 9 months ago and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land.
It's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your, contemporaries. Blech, took me a second to figure out what that word was.
Thank you.
So, Prosecutor Achi, do you have any final thoughts? Oh.
Prosecutor Achi?
Taketsuchi of the Aichi clan have been bested by a Kaoru youth not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today.
Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Silence!
Is he gonna commit seppuku? Or is he just gonna cut his hair?
Rather than living in shame, I will end it all now with this blade. For this is the true path to Aitism.
Onishi-ism?
And hopes that that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness.
Sprig of my top knot. The time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever.
Taketsuchi.
Yeah, he's gonna cut that out.
Fly into the wind.
Susanna's not with her hands together, yes. Oh man. Well, that was weird. Very dramatic. Now in regard to the defendant, Membami-san,
Yes, Your Excellency?
I have reached my final verdict. Hereby find you not guilty. Yay! We did it! Court is adjourned. Alright, we did it. 13th of August, 2:38 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Antechamber 3. Balding man cutting off his last lock of hair on the top of his head. True stoicism right there. Absolutely. He's shown that it's time to change. It's time to move on.
It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruto-san? Susato!
Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there.
Ray and Father.
Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've... Oh no, I think I'm going to cry.
It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end, too.
The only reason I'm still here is because of you.
Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So I would have to say that the congratulations belongs to you.
Susato, don't be so standoffish.
Sorry?
We're friends, equals, and the trial's over, so no more of this formal super humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger, to throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... what? I'm the great detective lawyer Ryotaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something. Right, I see. I'll, think about it, Ray. At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anybody else we could throw together? If you're not looking at me, Ray. Oh my goodness. No, of course not. Of course not. Ah, there it is at last. Ray's lovely smile. You fought for your friends at the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryotaro Naruhodo. Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryotaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotaba now. So I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame! What? Oh, hi. What is happening? Suzaki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well. Is that really you? Yes, I had changed my appearance for, well, obvious reasons I hope, but it's me. Susato Mikotaba. I don't. So dashing, so divine. Definitely dashing, yes, and definitely divine. Just look at you. I had no idea Mr. Sato-san, Esquire. You were welcome, Sir Naruhodo-san's Esquire's cousin. Essentially, astounding, it's attorney. He said the thing. He said the thing. He said the thing. He said he's attorney. He said the thing. He said the thing. Roll credits. Yes. Oh, maybe I will. Poor Suzaki-san, so confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled here. But after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Suzaki-san was free to return to Japan. And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author. I'm stunned! That's really impressive disguise. Even I had no idea, and I'm a chief inspector at the police bureau. Who came up with Mr. Turtle? No, this. And I keep hearing his voice. Even though Turtle, that's not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see. Just two, really? And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event. I hope. Oh, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector. Well, I am a professional, of course. I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do. 9 months ago, when he appeared here in the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. Though that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama? From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all of this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean? I'm talking about the murder that the English woman committed at the end of last year. Ah, yes, it was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes, the man I invited to Japan personally. The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer. On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter with Mr. Herlock Sholmes, the great detective, I mean. Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. Ah, my arch nemesis. How likely you utter his name? Well, according to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. And if that's really true, then the poor girl will never see her beloved father again. Oh, poor Iris. As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born. Yes, grandmother told me about it. On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial University. I also serve another role as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. Yes, I was aware of that as well. In that case, I'm sure you understand. But there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you. Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? Oh, shit. That's right, because the reason that she came back was supposedly her father was dying. But, he looks fine to me. It's been 2 months now since I returned. Well, when I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you'd collapsed with a high fever. And you were growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I'd like to know, because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way, or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of. Amy, do you reserve your most cunning glares for your father's? I'm sorry, my dear, I simply can't. Oh, let me go! Oh, shit, dude. Manny Memo-san! So, one throw wasn't enough for you. I've got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor! I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on in that visiting student's fate. Oh, shit. Visiting student. Sale Barrett, you mean? No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago. What? Student of law? He must mean Kazuma-sama. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama? Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Ah! Oh shit, the judge! Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. What were you officers playing at? Exactly, sorry, Your Excellency. Suspicious. I was going to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Eugen. And it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with them. I'll be there shortly. Oh, Your Excellency. The trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro Jigoku. And may as I say that once I saw you at last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance. Susato. Oh, was the judge here the whole time with Susato? That's funny. Did you know all along from the start of the trial? The judge sees everything, Susato. He couldn't let you take the risk. If says you're unknown and then he'd recognize you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand as an old friend. Yeah, this doesn't seem competent. But he also seems complacent. He seems... Yeah, no. But it seems like... the fact that our Mikotaba was there as assisting to the fence and is also a close friend apparently with the judge, that seems like a situation of possible corruption of justice. Mr. Mikotaba, sir, you starting to sound pretty suspicious here, buddy. Like, it seems, pretty suspicious. So, Sashiro, shall we? Yes, having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address. Before you go, Father. Sorry, my dear, we shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. Why do I feel like her father's going to be murdered? Why do I feel like her father's about to be murdered? But well done again, both of you. You did admirably. Oh, thank you very much. What did you think of my Sashiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that. Ah ha ha ha. Whatever could Father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brett? About Dr. Wilson? And now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with Father sometime. Okay, question. What was the names listed in the end of last game? In the last game. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. What? No, hold on. I'm trying to look that up. I'm trying to find out what the names were. My face is gonna make weird faces. Wait, okay. Okay, wait. Okay, I got it. The four names it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all four. And that's, oh wait. Okay, that's the end of the message. Never mind, hold on. Okay. Okay. Okay, wrong thing. Okay. So, first name is Kazuma Asogi. Or Kei Asogi. A. Shin. Okay, we have not met anybody with the last name nobody named Shin. So that's still don't know. And then the third one was Gregson. And then Mr. Wilson. Okay. 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 So I was wondering if Miss Brett's name was in there or something. I don't know. Or if Mikotaba was in it, but no, that's not. When nobody else is around. Judicial Assistant Mikotaba, San, Esquires, could I have a word?
Oh, yes, of course, Saseki-san. What is it?
I think perhaps it would be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh?
I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England. Oh, shit!
This I have to hear. Please, Saseki-san, tell me at once.
I will. As you know, my time in England was terrible, cursed. I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness. Locum student Naruto-san Esquires, then. After you secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here in my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experience to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotaba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report.
My father?
He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Wait. Why was Mikotaba taken? Did Mikotaba's he's a professor of medicine. Why? Okay. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan.
What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in?
I don't really know exactly. But I do remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in?
Of course, I can never forget.
Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case.
Second one, you mean the one Mr. Shums forbade any of us to talk about in public?
Wait, what? What are you talking about? What? What?
Which is why the only case involving you and any member of the public is aware of is the first.
What? Well, I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. The point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. The horrific, heinous case. The case of the haunted lodgings. What?
That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. I thought the whole business was over. But seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
Right. He thought the house he was in was haunted.
So,
but
the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better how you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in.
Case?
Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again.
Yes, please.
Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
What the heck is she talking about? What? Okay, that's the end of the first chapter. Which was insane. So I was out of success. Okay. I have a million questions. But, so, episode 2, The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. The Clouded Heart? Yeah, 'cause Kokoro means heart, doesn't it? Oh?
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
What? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law. Having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to be here, London, England, and on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgivable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber, thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. From Susato. Oh. Yeah, we're probably broke as fuck. We need money for food. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Shom's suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. "30th of August. Okay. So it's been 17 days since Susato sent that letter. Okay. 7:28 a.m. Shom's suite.
Reno, good. I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I was surprised this morning. Shh, another word, Mr. Naruto. This could be just the obtrusive thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation, repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Shams. Yes, I see. So that's it. Oh gosh, Holmes. Personal space, please. You just step back. The truth is as clear to me as day. My vessel. Personal space, man, yeah. Please of observation have revealed it again. What are you talking about? You know, you have this morning met with a surprise. Yeah, I just said that. I just said that, Bunny. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to having been flustered this morning. That was the surprise. Bacon being affordable? What mood? Can I talk now? But of course, so I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. I've been this way since I met you. Oh, it has. And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you?
Pulled your button off?
What were you two doing? What were you two doing last night? I guess I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my great dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Which was mine? What? Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Oh my god. Why is that the funniest response to that? And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Troubles me that you expect me to know where it is. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring.
But Hurley Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I'm kind of surprised this morning.
Well, it really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too, my latest special blend. Ooh.
That was weird. My hand just did a weird twitch. And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion, a truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes is published in Rance magazine. Carpal tunnel? I mean, I do have carpal tunnel, but I've never had like a weird sudden like twitch. I will get pain sometimes, and like my hands will go numb. But I've never had it like weirdly twitch like that. That was weird. Yeah, I need to call the hospital again about that, but I keep forgetting, cause yay! ADHD make me forgetty. So, Mr. Naruto, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, me? Was it? Really?
That's right, and she has some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, with fun!
Okay. Mrs. Oda's letter. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by international post.
Oh, how lovely. Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
Right, it's probably in Japanese. And now it's your judicial assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsumi appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsumi. Nope, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago. Yeah, this thing that apparently happened and I have no idea about. Ah, the mustachy, twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache.
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. Very deep impression they made on you, girly. Okay, startling news. So, what was this startling news penned by Mrs. Otto? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Great. You're super helpful, Sholmes, again. What would we do without you? Mr. Sholmes is our tuxedo mask to Sailor Moon. Which, yes, I'm saying Naruhodo is Sailor Moon absolutely. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Otto asks that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago. For what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Naruhodo said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh. On Mr. Natsumi's return to Japan, Mrs. Otto's father questioned him about the case, she says, and something Mr. Natsumi said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotaba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case! Yes! The one that we're not telling the viewers about! Oh my goodness, I can't believe it! It was so crazy! All those things happened! Oh my gosh, and all the twists and turns! I can't believe it! If only somebody would tell the viewer! It was very strange, wasn't it?
So descriptive. It's very strange. Oh, I'm sure it was. The pronoun game. Yep.
And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication too. But then her here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said, very mysteriously as well.
Everyone loves the pronoun game. Yay. You know, the thing that we're being intentionally vague about. Yep. So wait, is this have to do with the manuscript that was at, the pawnbroker? Because that was something that she wrote that he told her not to publish. Really? I said that. Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mrs. Otto was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan? Did Gina ever tell us if it was even still there or not? Yes, I think we did. We did find it. We did find it there as evidence. We did find it that it was still at the pawnbrokery. We don't know where it is now, I guess. I don't know what would happen. What happened with the pawnbrokery? Because the problem is the notes and stuff for the pawnbrokery, he doesn't include names of people to keep it anonymous. But you have to use like a password and stuff to get your items back and stuff. Wonder how that worked out. I guess they would have to return in like 2 months or it would be put for sale. So maybe just a police officer had to stay there and be like returning people's stuff but not taking in things until that 2 months period was over. That's possible, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Mrs. Otto's reparation.
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No, that he was ill.
No, it just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead.
But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that, I wonder what Miss Sasato's father is hiding.
Harley, do you know what it's all about?
Oh, he's all dressed. He's ready to go. Well, who can say? What? But you said... Believe I have engagements, my dear, but all my calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent illness of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, the man thwarted my absence, won't you, Iris? Who can say we're still being vague? Right.
I will, Harley, don't worry. See you later.
Okay, bye. He scuttled off rather quickly there. I guess we're gonna look at the notes. I think perhaps Professor Migatoba is the only person hiding something here. Oh, shit. Saseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, that's very suspicious.
I found them at last.
Iris, are they?
The notes about the case? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them too, Bruno?
Okay, so this is a different story. Hello. Yeah, I would like that to be gone, please. Yeah, no, I don't want that. Where's the chat box? Yeah, I'm making chat box disappear now because of that fucking person. Fuck you. Don't be coming up into my stream and do this shit. No. I'm not okay with that. Absolutely not. Get the fuck out of here.
The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them right now?
Be gone, but yeah, I have the chat just hidden until that goes away. Is that good now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, be gone, but absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case, but perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light. Oh, this is... I like this music. Alright. I'm assuming we're getting a flashback. And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation about that fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue and have all the time in the world. Because, of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Why? That's interesting. It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. Right, her. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attacker, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. That man was Saseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Sasato and I decided to represent Saseki-san in court, and after a grueling trial with many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. Joyful! Jubilant! Jubilation! Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Enter Barts at once! So Susanoo and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. Oh, we get to meet the victim of the stabbing. 21st February, 5:30 a.m., St. Bartholomew's Hospital Recovery Ward. This is getting close to being my birthday on this date. My birthday is the 28th of February, so give about 7 more days. Maybe something will happen on my birthday. St. Bartholomew. Interesting. There you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. Oh. Yeah, this is a what's the word? Backstory, whatever. This is not backstory, but like whatever. Words. You're late. What on earth took you so long? Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's 20-minute ride to the hospital. That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. The time is utterly irrelevant. As I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. In point of fact, myself was so woken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy, revealing he was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour. I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness. There she is. You should introduce yourselves, and I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back. Her name is... yes, here we are. Miss Green. Yeah, isn't it her name Olive Green? Because of course it is. Picture. Look, there's a photograph in this frame here. Okay. Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman. He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps a young woman special someone, do you think? Oh, my, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't know you had such a sense for matters of the heart. Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of.
Okay. This round wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it? What are you talking about?
I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Arado. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe, used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Okay. You guys are being a little fatphobic. Just saying. Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. That's very true, yes. Honestly, that would be a great tool. I've not seen a lot of, like, drawing figures that are of different sizes like that. Like, that would actually be crazy helpful, I'm sure. Oh, this looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. What is this place? A zoo?
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeons. Yes. This is a person. Poor woman, I hope she hasn't read this. Oh boy, I'm gonna not like this, aren't I? There are a lot of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you were a patient here, I feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I have no doubt you'd manage to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Otto. Okay. There's a rat. There's a rat? What kind of hospital is this? There's a rat.
Eek! A mouse, Mr. Naruhodo! An enormous mouse!
Vermin in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, I don't. What is happening here? That must be a bag of Mrs. Green's personal belonging.
She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Alright then, let's see what's inside. A change of clothes, no doubt, and...
No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
But the young maiden might have chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel. I don't like this chapter. They are being very judgmental of this young lady. And I don't like it. I don't appreciate this at all. Is there anything else over here? This looks like the treatment notes for whoever is occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
Patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
He or she is probably running around the hospital then. I don't like the fact that we're not provided free sweets IRL. Game is making me hungry. That's fair. I luckily have actually some chocolates stashed away as snacks for myself. But still, I'm just like... Don't be judging. And don't be assuming what's going to be in this girl's bag, okay? And I don't appreciate the sign on her bed saying, do not feed. What is that? That is... Oh my gosh. I can't imagine how, like, absolutely triggering this could be for somebody who's had eating disorders. I'm not laughing at her, I'm laughing at you. Guilty as charged. This is not, this makes me uncomfy, honestly. I'm just like, no, please, no. It's not okay.
Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. Yeah, that's true. What?
If the patient is well enough to run around, unless they're here for mental issues? I guess it's possible. I don't know. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this. Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors. I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worried that you'd break the lock. Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Otto. Okay. I think that's everything I can look at. Let's actually talk to Miss Green. Jojo Mean. Oh no! Good morning. Hi. Oh, she's an artist! She's a painter! Hello, I'm, Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. What should I do her voice as? Oh no, was it, I don't know, that's too much like Susato-san's. And I don't want to do it too high, or it'll sound just like Iris's. But she looks very young, too. She looks like she's younger than probably Ryunosuke.
Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer.
I'm Susato Mikotaba. Pleased to meet you. Oh no, was it your knife then?
Are you the one?
No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you had regained consciousness and wanted to come to give you our best wishes. Best wishes? For me?
Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's alright, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. What? That's a little harsh. I don't think it's related, actually. Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. About the incident. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time.
But the case has been solved, hasn't it? I mean, well, I've been here in hospital, I mean.
Indeed it has, my dear madame. Spectacularly, by none other than I, Sherlock Holmes. Actually, no, it was me.
Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly.
Oh, I see.
Me coming around seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me.
Oh no!
We're all so relieved that you are on the mend, Miss Green. We really are.
With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Jeez. Okay, about yourself. So you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art, really, at the Thorn Duke Academy of Fine Arts.
Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country. Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh, no, actually,
I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road. I see. Oh, very interesting. Oh no, is it? Brixton is some 10 stops away on the underground from here, and Thorn Duke Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton downtown center. Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Mustache. Inferior means, I suppose Zeki-san does fit the bill. Struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? She's suddenly clammed up. Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into a young maiden's private affairs. Oh, dear me, do forgive me.
If you don't mind, I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh yes, of course, we won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Is there Mr. Narrowfolder? Mr. Narrowfolder? Narrowfolder, huh? Narrowfolder. Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Mr. Narrowfolder. Good, this is for you. It's a message from Mr. Saucy Nutsmeg. Mr. Natsumi? Send a message to me? What did he say? How did he say Natsumi? Mr. Saucy Nutsmeg. Saucy Nutsmeg! Ugh. Get myself comfy. Saucy Nutsmeg. Mr. Natsumi sent me a message to me?
But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsumi?
Exactly. What's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? What are you waiting for? Let me see that. Oh! Well, this is most unexpected. Something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? He says, have you not seen this note? No, how could I have? You took it from me! It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls a case of murder, no less. We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab. Time is of the essence. But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsumi's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit at his lodgings once we did. That will be entirely convenient.
Convenience? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder must investigate took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings. Wait, what?
I'll hail a virus at once.
Well, fuck. It was only yesterday that Soseki-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address? He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Oh boy. Okay, 21st February, 7:18 a.m., Mr. Natsumi's lodgings, ground floor. Oh, this dude! We had ran into him. Yeah, he's supposed to be, he was living in the same building. Okay, well, he's dead now, I guess. What on earth?
Oh my, the gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Welcome, student! Mr. No, Esquire. Mr. Natsumi! Oh, why is this happening? Why to me? out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this. No early bird should catch a worm like this. Waffle, worm, without wiggle. I see you're in nice spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Not the horrible luck. Shut up. Show yourself the door. I never invited you. Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsumi. I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you? Yes, here they are. Already. The busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson, what a pleasant surprise. My son, is it? You give me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sholmes. Ah, I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Good morning, Inspector. This is a crime scene. Don't you go touch nothing. Or good morning to you, Sunshine. Okay, we're just getting into it then. Okay. Mr. Gregson, can you tell us anything? So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? Mr. William Shamspeare? Shamspeare? Touch everything. That's because that's double negative, yeah. William Shamspeare. That's so funny. Shamspeare. That's stupidly funny. He was a lodger, yeah. I should probably tell he was an actor. Bit of a dead loss that happens. We're just dead. Mr. Shamspeare. It was the landlord, old McGardev, but not the lodger, Mr. Natsumi, who found him. The village didn't rise at his usual hour, so Gardev got bored and kicked the door down. But doesn't Mr. Gardev have a bad leg? Yeah, right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking. Really? Suzuki-san? But it was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crime. Pretty crimes. I'm trying to remember how to do Gregson's voice. There are no money, no place to go, and no problem. There's only acquaintances where the people in this house. Miserable life. And a miserable end to it. Trying to do his accent, I can't remember. So what exactly Mr. Natsumi is still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it because the villain looks odd or anything. Or that he acts suspicious. I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the culprit. Collaborator? Uh-huh. Isn't this guy supposed to be suspended or administrative leave or desk duty or something? I don't think yet. Because this is before the final case in the first game. Yeah. You nearly said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear. Mr. Natsumi appears to be under suspicion again. Never mind, I forgot this is an extended flashback. Yes. Certainly seems that way. He does come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate. Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been a gunner that long, but he's still warm. Okay, there we go. I got my inspector's voice going. Even the inspector would allow it. I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. Okay. Look at all this stuff. Boy, I said hands off. You're gonna mess up my crime scene. Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all. No chance. I know you're kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it. Someone's in a bad mood. There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there? Alright, sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first, try to curry some favor. Did I talk to him again?
Okay. No, you're just saying the same thing. Okay, can I look at the body? Oh, it's dead ends up. Nice one. Okay, nope, he's not gonna let us look. What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Evidence of excruciating experiences. So the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it? That's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So did you know the victim? Were you friends? I can say no. Zeki, can you use your words, please? What's the matter with Zeki's on now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But he didn't. But did he ever invite me to a... My own eyes wept. What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruto? When you found you here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. The inspector came over there. Sholmes, what are you doing? Sholmes, what are you doing? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? You need only observe to know it's my dear fellow investigating naturally. There's nothing natural about that pose. Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery? Patience, my dear madame, patience. We have not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I managed to deduce is what actually happened. My goodness. Oh boy. But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes? How don't you propose the idea? I believe one could, indeed, see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Mr. Natsumi, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow? No, don't blame me. Get out of here. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Alright, Mr. Natsumi. Why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions? Oh, please, but not here. Ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant. Impossible to ignore. You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail. Of course. Let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions. Presented for your pleasure in 2 acts. We've heard some truly outstanding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For like Sholmes, logic and reasoning spectacular. Act 1. Here we go. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Cause of death. Natsumi is not happy. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Bleh. Bleh. Brain worky. Roll at the mouth of the deceased entirely indicates the use of poison. That's fair. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap, being full indubitably. Wait. So he has foam at the mouth because he had a piece of soap in his mouth. Why he had a piece of soap, I don't know. Why is the soap set so purposefully upon the dish, like the victim's last supper? In fact, yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. And his foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather on the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The case of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Though personally I have a greater interest in the days of foul candle wax, of course. Wait, what? 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 Shams, you've eaten candle? Shams? Shams? Cause of death identified. We're proceeding to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. I prefer the taste of foul candle wax, Shams. Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Was this suicide or murder? The unanswered will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man die and die alone? The suggested teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish. However, certainly, the careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Oh my god, Mr. Natsumi is gonna have a heart attack. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. No. Broken lock is because Mr. Natsumi had to knock in the door. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, the door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim had consumed the poison, he must have been alone with his inferior soap, whence wafted an inferior scent. What? And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. What? No possible persecutor. What? Thus concludes the final act of her elections. Great. I'm very confused, Shams. My head hurts. That was very confusing to me. There's just one thing, Mr. Shams. Are you disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruto? Right? What concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but no one to do it. Soap can suddenly appears quite irresistibly appetizing. How extraordinary. In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. Sholmes, please tell me this was a situation in which it was like a soap that was shaped like an apple. And you're like, oh, a tasty apple. Nom. Please don't tell me you picked up a bar of soap and went, mm-mm. Stop it, get some help, right?
You've eaten it, you mean?
My dear fellow, it was some time ago. No, my postulation was that it would cleanse my guts.
What? No!
And did it?
I was ripped in agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach. Yes, I believe it did. I think you threw up because you ate soap. Not because of whatever else was wrong with you. Experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It's not exactly poisonous, but like if you ate a lot of it, yes, probably would poison you somehow, but eating a small bit of it, I don't think is gonna necessarily kill you. Cause isn't soap usually made from like fat? Like animal fat? So like, yeah, animal fat. So eating a small bit of it is probably, like, your stomach might be upset and be like, I don't know about this. But I think it might have to do more with the chemical reaction in your stomach of soap. More than the actual substance being absorbed into your body. Than compared to, like, I don't know, something actual point. Yeah, a significant part of your general health is your gut health. Yes, that's very important. But I'm just thinking, if it reacted to, yeah, no, it's really bad to, yeah, it's important to have good gut health. But like, I feel like if, particularly the soap started like, yeah, like if the soap was starting to like, bubble up in your stomach's probably gonna be like, no, and just throw up. But yeah, like, but yeah, it's important to have gut bacteria and stuff. That's one reason why, yeah, that's one thing, that they think that the appendix is for. Yeah, that's what they think the appendix is for, is cause, like, if you get sick, like, fun things like diarrhea, sorry for anybody who's eating, obviously you are basically trying to get whatever is bothering your body out, which can also include getting rid of a lot of the good bacteria that you need. So they think that the appendix is kind of like a little storage hold, that when you flush out of everything, there's a bit of that bacteria still in your appendix and is able to, I guess, repopulate the bacteria, but this bacteria cells are able to repopulate your gut and have you get your gut bacteria back. Yes, replicate. Yes, yes. But that's also possibly why your appendix can get, like, really infected, I'm assuming. That's why it gets removed. So that's fun.
Very fun, very fun. But yes, I'm assuming there probably is certain soaps that do have things that you shouldn't eat in it as well. I know it is, you don't need it to survive. So it ruptures bye-bye. Yeah. No, yeah, they take it out because it was originally considered to be useless. But, yeah, you don't need it to survive, no. But they think that is the purpose of the appendix. It's to help with your gut bacteria. That's what they think. We don't know exactly for sure, I don't think. It's just a theory, I guess, or hypothesis. It does make a lot of sense, though. I thought the purpose was for humans to just raw meat before humans discovered fire. Was it? I thought that had more to do with teeth. I had no idea. I have no idea. But yeah, that can get infected and stuff, so you gotta remove it. Yeah, it does probably require a lot more research. Experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. This is Mr. Sholmes, food critic era. Soap, would not recommend. No shit. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did. There's something that troubles me as well, actually. Oh, what's that? It's Mr. Natsumi. I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. All the most as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched a nerve somehow. Nonsense! Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsumi's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Sholmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Yeah. Except, course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Okay, because of that. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this desolate room last night. Foam in the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, he knows a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful, indubitably. Why is the soap set so purposely upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And of course, only half the bars of soap is left on the plate. But might there be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap? Oh wait, there's the other half of the soap. So, no, he didn't eat the soap, I'm guessing.
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table, in short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Except apparently Sholmes. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruto, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. No, I'm assuming the cup. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then. Perhaps he's suggesting the man lick the soap rather than eat it? If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it? Yeah, the freaking cup!
Take that!
Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Okay, great. Suicide or murder, no possible perpetrator present. Cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was it suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. And the man dine and die alone. The single teacup suggests the answer. The Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deduction so far. Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamsir was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that. But what troubles me is Mr. Natsumi's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it. There's more to this deduction than it seems. We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues. Okay. What? Oh! There's a teacup in his hand.
Take that!
Okay, there we go. Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. At the very least, we can say no, certainly. Somebody else was here in this room last night taking tea with the victim. Oh, what are you? Utterly unbelievable, unjustly unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in the room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed, what reveals that, of course, is the broken lock. I don't think so. I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the days of eating too much soap.
What the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about. Well, we can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruto. No, I suppose not. Time to look around again. Okay, can we look at... what is this? Empty bottle. Okay. Pile of books. Pile of books does seem... Candle. Mm-hmm.
Take that!
Books? No. There's a pile of books here. No, clearly. Okay. Whatever, I don't care. So you'll be point me. Come on! The bottle. Oh, okay, there we go. It's empty. Empty of liquid, but full of air. You think, doesn't it? It makes me think that you're full of hot air. We should think about who else was in the room at the time. Father. So Asano-san's quip response was cleverer than my original riddle. Okay, so no. Can I look at the books? At first glance, seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially. Wonder what they are. Let's see. Dale's read. Picture of Montessori liqueur. Centerberry girdings and a meal for Gaboro. Are you? Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before. It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsumi purchased the other day. What? Yes, on the day of their unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed, Suzuki-san had been to a bookshop and brought them. That's right. And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim. Yeah, Mr. Natsumi claims never to have been here before. What does it mean, do you think? I really don't know what to make of it. Okay. So it is the books. Okay.
Take that!
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. But so it's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth. Mr. Natsumi, you purchased these books 4 days ago at the second-hand bookshop. That's just a coincidence. In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No! Can't bring your own copies here. It proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here in the victim's room. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Valley. In short, there's only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning. And the same night the victim had a visitor. And that visitor was you, Mr. Suzuki Natsumi. Thus concludes the final act of Sherlock Holmes' great deduction. Vaccine, Natsumi the scene. Okay, but there's still some stuff about that. Because it could not have been him, because this is a situation of a locked room. This is a locked room case. Again. Well, Mr. Natsumi, it appears you're going to have to accompany down to the yard. Again. Wait! Oh, your horses! Yes. Key! Entering exit entirely impossible! He's so flustered, he's being even stranger than normal. What, you think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? We live in the same building after all. Have plenty of opportunity, sure. But sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to get your side of the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. Wait, Mr. Mustache. You horrible elections! He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he? Come on now, no dilly-dally. Outside there's a carriage waiting. Look, I'm student Mr. Esquire. I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but you have to help me, please. I'm innocent. Alright, I understand. We'll come to your call later and talk about it. And one more thing. Oh, yes? My poor little kitty cat. Please give him breakfast for me. And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken. Suzuki-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you! Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Yes, that's right. Ah, and of course. What? Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Gerdeb, who discovered Mr. Shakespeare. Ah, Mr. John Gerdeb, yes. I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual. Right, we must remember to go and talk to him later then. Alright, let's do some examining. What is on the floor there? What's that? What's this? It looks like a part of an envelope, I think. Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened. Is that significant? Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter or the rest of the envelope. In fact, is there? Ah, she's right. And yet, here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual. I agree. We'd better take this, just in case. Okay. That's important. Okay. There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. And both of them are cracked. Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter? Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all. Prosecutor Lord Van Zeeks? Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy. You can suggest it next time we meet. Yeah, suggest it to him next time. Look at these extravagant, bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grime, shady goings-on. This one looks like a king's attire. A king? I've always dreamed of being a king. Oh, I think you'll be more suited to a feudal lord, daimyo, or such like. With the chonmage top knot, every Japanese man wishes he had a chonmage. Oh, you'd look wonderful with one, and you already have the sword. Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a chonmage and a sword?
That'd be quite the sight. As we've seen from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay. What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had on a property is extraordinary. It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh, what is it, Mrs. Otto? If you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose. Oh, shit. They are? What? So? Oh, yes, it looks like as though an amateur has broken out a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shakespeare who did it? I wonder... Mr. Shamspeare who did it? I wonder, being the lodger renting this. Oh, look at this, Mr. Otto. Soap? Why is there so much soap? On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it. What outside? But it's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap. It did snow last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is it on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps? It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside the window? I have no idea. But the pair of them look rather charming like that. So that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window. I think perhaps we should take one. There are two after all. Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at this soap. Ah! You see in the middle there? There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but some sort of fancy design, I suppose, only in Great Britain. It looks like the Hinomori flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful! It's probably a very expensive brand. Expensive? Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room? Sheep bar of soap. There's one step down there. Can I look at that more in depth? Okay. Right. Okay. Why is there... This bar is a different color. It's an exquisite delight, isn't it? Trust the British to turn a boring bar of soap into something special. I quite like it. Reminds me of the Tamara design of the Japanese flag. But this is a rather expensive soap. That doesn't seem likely, given who it belongs to. Why is it like that? That's so weird. What is this? And here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind? Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins. Ah, I see. Yes, now that you pointed it out, I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here... That's right, that would buy you about 2 hours of gas for light and heating. So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold. Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank, thank goodness there's no meter in our office. That's a weird thing to have. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall. Wait, what? Gas lights. A gas stove. London certainly is a city of gas. But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Scaredev had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they? Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there. Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much cozier. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's go look at the little stage set you got here. This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it? Where does the audience sit, though, for the nightly Shakespeare performances? Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Naruhodo, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the fence in your office.
What?
Then you could practice your art every single day.
I think I'll think about it. If you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge.
Well, if that would help you achieve your goal.
This I have to say. Okay. Anything else? Okay, look at body.
Oh, the poor man. Too young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was?
I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul?
Sorry?
I made sure I had a reference at the ready for such an occasion as this, actually. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed the British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment.
There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? Okay, well, that's gonna take a while.
One of the teacups that Mr. Shakespeare and his guests drank from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's a bitter poison inside.
I'm not planning on drinking anyway, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty.
That's true. So, one was Mr. Shakespeare's, and the other must have been the cup that Mr. Natsumi was drinking from.
But Saseki's-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we should take those so we can examine them in more detail later. Pair of teacups. Okay, one green line. Okay. Is that it? I think that's it. Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Inspector Gregson, back so soon? After I threw that little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this in the investigation division. 5 minutes time, this place will be cordoned off by the yard.
Oh, I see. Well, we'd better be leaving then. Poor Mr. Natsumi must be feeling very low being back in a cell again so soon.
I'm sure we should go and well, I guess this is really like a Shakespeare play. Does this become Romeo and Juliet? What the? Well? Good news, Mr. Natsumi! You're not suspected of murder! It's got to be Romeo and Juliet. No, I like Juliet. I like Juliet. It's better.
What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, hello, sir.
Hold out, brave candle, lies but a walking shadow, a poor player. That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Now, how soundeth the next part?
It is a tale told by an idiot from Sound of Fury, signifying nothing.
In the oh happy day.
What? If she did not, before Juliet takes a poison, then we'll put her in a coma. She was a curse of fate, basically. If she did not do this, she would have woken up in time for Romeo to not alive himself with the dagger, and they would have lived happily ever after. They probably wouldn't live happily ever after anyway, because
there's just a lot of things about Romeo and Juliet are very like, it doesn't seem like they were actually in love. Yeah, they could have run away. Yeah, but probably wouldn't end up being a very happy story in the end, but whatever. I don't think Juliet was. I think Romeo was. Juliet wasn't. Juliet saw a way out of her situation, I think. Romeo was in a rebound of being, broken up by whatever the other girl was. The fella isn't dead at all? What was that nonsense he was saying, though? I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Directed by the other lady who basically wanted to remain single for God or something and not have kids. Yeah. Sakuri from Act 5, Scene 5. Shakespeare. So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it hadn't killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment, and Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime, whatever that was now. So little Oqui. What? Wait a minute. So the Oqui. So the Oqui. Whatever. Whatever do you think will happen now? Good question. What a strange situation where Mr. Natsumi arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life. I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison, as we deduced, but what was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsumi in custody. I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? Yeah, what's this dude doing over here? What's this man doing over here? He looks like he's trying to see into Suzuki-san's lodgings. There's kind of a thing. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Excuse me, can we have a word? Oh, goodbye! He just ran off. I sure feel that I've seen that man somewhere before. What was it? I do too, but I don't remember. Yeah, that guy looked familiar, and I can't place where what he was involved in. There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Careteb residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment. In fact, that one seemed very warped though, especially the front wheel. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think? No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly afflicted. Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsumi has been practicing on this bike, I think. Oh dear, I fear you may be right. With the exception of the top floor where Mr. and Mrs. Gerdub live, all the windows are bricked up. Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows a property had. In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows. But the tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely. Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can afford to pay to have the work done. Yes, that is a sad state of affairs. Especially for people like poor Mr. Natsumi, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room. I suppose that's the price you pay for living in a very cheap accommodation. It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that. Interesting. Snowman. Why has somebody built the snowman on some sort of pedestal, do you think? That's not a pedestal, Mr. Rowe. That's part of the snowman's body. Really? Then it already has a perfectly good body. Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made with 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this is a foreigner. I know we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man, I know how he feels. If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball man snowmen that are the strange ones, isn't it? After all, real people do have 3 sections: head, torso, and legs. Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much? Interesting. Okay. Okay. Mr. Garradab's room. Okay, let's go talk to Mr. Garradab. Yes, all the time. 21st of February, the Garradab's room. Too much thinking, absolutely. Here we go again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode. We're here because Mr. Garradab's the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't forget. Ah, you chap, sir. Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Garradab as anyone, and really. I'm straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning. I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling me exactly what happened, Mr. Garradab. Yes, I suppose you'd like to know about that. Dead loss of an actor trapped in the ground floor room. Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? Okay. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what happened. Well, that hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bully answer. And that's when you broke his room by kicking down the door? Well, I called on that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour. That's very true, Mr. Naruto. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning. Well, better to be safe than sorry and all that. Is it just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden? That sounds like a whole bunch of lying. Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door. Okay, Mr. Shakespeare. The victim's name is Mr. Shakespeare, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shakespeare. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now. And how would you describe him? A word? Destitute. Destitute? Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bally screw loose. Try to choose which category Sasaki-san would fall into. Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude. He was doing research as well. Research? Into what? Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that. Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He is known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated. It seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sao, though someone was someone was too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually, weren't there? Of course, Mr. Natsumi is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have had much in common. Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that. Mr. Naruhodo, really? How rude. Okay, yesterday's events. After Mr. Natsumi's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between them and this morning? Well, no. Something about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember. It was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time. Mr. Gardev noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire. It was after 8 before Shakespeare got back. The chap was up until past 1 in the morning. I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end sometime after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather the dark. Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Otto? Well, I was just thinking, it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Gardev, were you up here in your room all evening, if I understood correctly? Not a big fan of stairs, not what this like. Then, how is it that you seem to know the precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor? That's a very good point. Can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? I say, I know what you're thinking, and it's a poorly outrage. I'm an ex-military, do you know? Because he's a creeper, yeah. I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I? I don't know. For funsies. You're bored? Sorry, get distracted. You can practically hear his fuse going shh now. And how did you know, Mr. Gardev? It's the gas, woman. The gas tells me everything. The gas. Right. Speaking gas, no. What do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything? Well, that's probably where the gas is supplied to the building by pipes. Yes, I'd more or less worked that out. Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside, and the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main. Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously the room would get brighter. Exactly. But at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment. What? They dim? Why? Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it? Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe. So, is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable. Ollie, good point. Fact is, gas companies' pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless. Long worn out. Barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps out here and they glow brighter than the rest of the house. Ah, right. I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. You've got it. Oh, of course, because when people come back home in the evening, and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires. Clever. In fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above us use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house. Interesting. Gosh. That's fascinating, Mr. Gardev. Absolutely fascinating. Oh, I need a drink. Ooh. Oh, well, nothing to do really. I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Gerda is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsumi again. A good idea. Okay. So, go to the prison. Hi, buddy! Come on, where's that cheerful smile you're known for? Look, Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Natsumi, have the police finished questioning you now?
Oh, consider Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire.
Oh, yes?
What is he? Tell me. Is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me?
Let me guess. You're talking about Mr. Sholmes? He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsumi, not a ghost.
His diabolic deductions are not of this world. If not me. Gross, I'm gross, I tell you.
Well, that sort of hurts. Credit where credit's due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in the deduction too. Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news. The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again. Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsumi?
It's terrible.
Oh.
I'm stuck in the cell, suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You did it, didn't you? Confess. You're a killer. What a mustache. Consider prisons.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm not. Scheiße. Make up your mind, are you dead or alive? If you were going to come back to life, why bother dying? What a wishy-washy William!
Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place.
I guess, that makes sense. Please, and he's alive, of course.
Of course, I'm trying to do his voice, but I've kind of lost it.
Our lively debate last night was much fun. I'd be sad to think it was our last.
Oh.
Oops.
Mr. Natsumi? Does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you?
I'll say another word. I demand to have a lawyer present. Who do you think I am?
Please, Mr. Natsumi, we need to hear your side of the story.
Why am I cursed like this?
Alright, buddy, let's talk. Can you tell exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsumi?
There's nothing to tell. But, Mr. Natsumi Esquire, Naruhodo Esquire, I'm eternally grateful to you for helping me with that cursed case yesterday.
The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back. It's hard to believe that that was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my weary way back to my little chamber. And that evening, past 9, must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare.
So you did go to the victim's room then? As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong! I've never been to his room before, it's the first time!
Then what made you decide to go?
I bumped into him when I brought back the house. We got chatting and it developed into a discussion, but he had to go out, so I bade him farewell.
That ties into what Mr. Gerdup said, that the victim went out and came back after 8.
We met again later that evening. At around 9 or just after, when I took him some tea, nice tea I'd brewed as a gift.
So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then? And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you?
That's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate.
I'm sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare.
And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea?
Oh, never at all. Shameful Juliet won, that was me, and when I left the room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear it categorically.
Okay. Let's not sue me. You often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence?
I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and that time I've thought that's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. There are foreigners everywhere.
There are foreigners everywhere. Look. You'll stare at me. That's your mission I got whenever I go out. Makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. I'm more bored than I can remember. And then when we go, what the fuck am my voice? I run to Briar Road.
But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable.
Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money. It's up to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap, because the room is cursed. Cursed how? The previous occupants, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no.
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why.
Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that.
I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I heard. But I like books! Books cost money! A horrible history is a small price to pay! But I realized it would mean I could buy more books. I saw lace like lightning.
Brave or blickering?
But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really is.
Gosh, was it really so awful? Horrible history. How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsumi? What happened? Why do I feel like this all has to relate back to that picture of the young man in Miss Green's room, in her hospital room, of that young boy. Well, not boy, but young man, whatever.
At first, it was just a feeling of beady eyes boring into my back. Me.
Do you think that might have just have been your mind playing tricks on you? I feel like I am onto something. But I'm not sure exactly the connection yet. I was thinking that maybe it was an old picture of Mr. William Shakespeare. Because obviously that is not his real name. That cannot be the name he was born with. William Shakespeare? Maybe William, but Shakespeare? No, absolutely not. So I'm wondering if Shakespeare is actually that boy in the picture, that guy in the picture? Or it could be having to do with this situation of the person who apparently died in that room. Very curious.
No, my mind doesn't know any tricks. There's someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to the place.
A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean?
All the souls who've died in that room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me.
That really is horrible.
And, I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. Very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing in agony for the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated suddenly by those miserable spirits in my room!
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, I know it, and that's why I'm already searching for the next room with a history to go.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Oh. Susanoo, I don't think you need to spook him more. William Shakespeare, also known as Bill Spork. Peter Susanoo knows how to make the man listen. Yeah, but that doesn't really help him. Of course, Lord of the... Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse as well. You mean Mr. Gerda? Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Ah, perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps in his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his lit rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsumi. Please, forget I said anything.
Now you're talking about me playing my book as well. What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come around, he's able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right. Excuse me. Oh. Inspector Gregson. I could not both forget what you just said. On that note, I have some good news and some bad news. What you want first? It's every time the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, the good news it is. Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way. Then why you ask? Why did you ask? Cut me in for me. Ask me my purpose. As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, was just unconscious. He's come around now. Yeah, we saw it happen all this, and it's all of its terrifying glory. He's still being treated by the doctors, but we've managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Miss Hatsumi?
Oh, thank goodness. It's over then. I can leave this secure myself. Sorry, no, that's not on the cards. What?
Oh, why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shakespeare has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night. Implicated someone?
Oh dear.
You don't mean... Sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsumi. By sweet poison did he seeketh to end my life. That wicked cat, Caitiff, Seki Natsumi. No! So I'm afraid he'll be abandoned in Gordas land. There'll be one to make the necessary preparations. Interesting. Why would he implicate Suzeki-san? That's really weird. And so once again, Suzeki-san found himself having to take the dock to the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in the court and do my utmost to break the curse that bladed him. To be continued. So you said you wanted to be done about 9:30. Do you want to go ahead and end it already? Since we're at a good saving spot? It's up to you. I'm cool with whatever. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, that's fine. I'm hungry anyway. So, that works well for me. Alright. I forgot about that. Yeah, you gotta... Wait, wrong thing. Look. Yeah, go get that cat. Get the medicine cat.
Yeah, I forgot to, man. Well, go get that cat its medicine. See ya. Talk to you next week. Peace. Alright. That will be the end of the stream tonight. Let me play music. Make it more fun. Let's go. No, I don't want that one. No, I don't want that one. No. How about this one? Yeah, I guess this one's fine. Okay, there we go. That is going to be the end of the stream for tonight. Thank you for coming and hanging out. I'm excited to find out what's going on with Mr. Natsumi again, and what this all has to do with this whole crazy conspiracy going on. It's insane. I'm very curious what this all how this all connects. That's gonna be it for tonight. Next week, more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. That's it. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, day, whatever it is, and bye.